and this third film was definitely the same. I got to see it in Toronto. It was great to see it in the Toronto crowd.
Yeah.
Such a great premiere there. And I can't wait to more people see it on Netflix and in theaters. So, Ryan, my first question is for you. Of course, these films pull inspiration from Agatha Christie, and I was reading recently that you said that this film is a bit closer to a traditional Agatha Christie mystery than the prior ones. And it made me think about how Benoit kind of shows up a little bit later in this film as opposed to the prior two films. So, at what point in crafting this film did you know, like, you kind of to want to go in that direction? And be a little bit different in the storytelling for this third film.
Yeah, this is a little closer to the traditional structure of the first act. You meet all the suspects, you get a sense of who's going to get killed. They get killed, and then the detective enters to kind of figure it all out. With this one in particular, I think it did make sense because this movie is kind of about faith, and it's sort of about religion, which is something that I have a lot of personal history with. And so to take that first act and really just kind of establish the world so that when Blanc enters it, we know the dynamics at play there, because Blanc is going to come in with his own distinct perspective and is going to kind of totally shake everything up. So to kind of lay the groundwork take the time to lay the groundwork before Blanc enters, that felt like that was worth doing.
Yeah, yeah, and honestly, Josh O'Connor was killing it so much. At one point, I was like, "Wait, this is a big one."
You know what? If I hadn't have turned up, the film would have been fine.
I was about to just 3 seconds more, and it would have just crashed. Josh was at the tank was
at
empty
his limit.
at the limit. He was like a pitcher in the Dodgers game. Just his arm was falling off.
And Daniel, for you similarly, how do you think Benoit's involvement in this mystery is a bit different? Because unlike past stories, I feel like this one is the one where he has the most of an eagle eyes view to everything that's going on. And the case kind of unravels on its own much more in this film than the prior films. So how would you explain how that's kind of different for this character in this film too?
I think his relationship with Father Judd is really key, and that he likes Father Judd from the outset. He's not at all religious, Blanc, and is quite cynical about the whole thing. And through Father Judd, he sees many things, but he sees the goodness in him, the goodness in the individual Father Judd, and that so he sort of has a revelation in the movie, which is fun and also kind of great to play. But yeah, I mean it's his MO though. I mean he basically tries to give people enough rope to hang themselves, which is like his way. With charm, he does it, but he's like he invites people to get themselves into trouble. And he's got he's as usual. He's got a fairly strong idea about what's going on right from the offset.
I would love to see more of these films, as I said, but with these three films, do you think there was a particular story or recurring theme, or even just like an overall just like message you think you were able to capture in these three films if they were a trilogy?
I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see if people watch them and they find some connective tissue. They'll probably explain it. It'll probably make sense to me. But for me, I was just kind of attacking each one as its own thing. For me, that's the exciting thing about the murder mystery genre. It can be so many different things, and I think we really set off to make not to make a trilogy or to make a series or whatever, but to write a series of novels like Agatha Christie did, and each one has its own purpose and identity and theme that it's struggling with, and tone.
And is to entertain.
That's
to
it.
give people as good a time as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Ryan, I spoke to you and Daniel, I think that was like 2 weeks ago virtually.
Yeah.
And during that time, I asked you about the fact that the character of Judd is kind of the one who anchors most of the story, because Benoit doesn't come in until considerably later than he does in prior films. So Josh, I want to ask you something similar, just about the concept of you diving into this role and knowing the history of the first two films, kind of knowing that your character kind of has a lot more to do earlier in the film and kind of mans that part of the movie way before Benoit even enters the fold.
So key to this story are those kind of earlier scenes where we set up the community, the parishioners in this world, and we understand Wicks, and And so in that way, you know, those kind of early scenes are crucial. But again, you know, Ryan was really helpful with that. Daniel was ever present, and so it felt, you know, really felt like I had his support in that way. But yeah, I mean, I know what you mean about that. But really, truly, when Blanc turns up, the energy shifts, and that's true of all of these films. There is something about, you know, he brings this, and this is a credit to Daniel. You know, he brings this energy and direction, which drives the film through. So,
Honestly, when Benoit popped up, I was like, okay, wait, this is a Benoit mystery movie.
Yes.
We put a little moment at the beginning with him, so we say, "Don't worry, Daniel Craig will be in this movie."
Yeah.
Yes. And Ryan, one of my favorite parts when I saw the movie at TIFF, and I think it still resonated with me last night, was the phone call between Judd and Louise. And I think that it's so interesting for me because I feel like it's such a humorous moment at the time, and then this phone call happens, and then you're like, wow, this is actually very moving, and knowing people who may be in similar situations. What was it like being able to put that part in the movie to kind of have this sweet and tender, heartwarming moment amid kind of the backdrop of what otherwise would be kind of a hilarious scene trying to figure out who ordered it?
Yeah, it felt really important, and also because, I mean, just the whole movie kind of travels on Josh's character, on Judd and Father Judd, and part of his arc is he very much wants to be a good priest. There's this horrible thing, this murder that happens, he's suspected of it, and then he kind of gets caught up in the game with Blanc of trying to solve it. And trying to solve the murder means trying to win the game, and trying the gamified thing of, we're going to find the bad guy, we're going to get them, I'm going to be in the clear, me against them, kind of like this. And then that's a scene where he has to reset suddenly and remember, wait a minute, that's the opposite of what I'm here to do as a priest, as someone who's here to show people Christ's love. And so it felt, when I was writing it, I was a bit nervous, but then it felt so right, and it felt like, no, this moment has to happen at this point in the story. Yeah.
Well, thank you both so much for chatting with me.
Thanks,
I
I
appreciate
appreciate
film
it.
again.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks a lot.
appreciate it.
I saw it first at TIFF, and I enjoyed it. And I was such, the crowd was loving it there. And I felt like they loved it just as much last night, so it's great to be in that premiere crowd as well. And I think this might be low-key my favorite Knobs Out.
Ours too.
Why does it low-key? Be high-key.
Because
Share it out
sometimes I feel
there.
like the first one has such a cult following. You
This
don't
one's
want
better.
Yeah, but this one's
Let's
just
just say it.
It just
Kerry likes to scream it out.
This is the
best one.
And by the way, that is not an easy statement because I love the first two.
Yeah.
So I say it's the best one with a lot of pride that we're just building on an already strong franchise.
Yes.
Absolutely. But I just love the themes of this movie. Mila, I'll start with you first because I feel like your character, she's more of the more grounded characters. I feel like in a world full of
Nice way of saying it,
so many eccentric, interesting, maybe even weird characters.
Yeah,
she's
sure
a
what
more
you're
grounded.
I'm not nearly as weird as these two. I don't have issues, you know what I mean? My character's fine. These two have a lot of things I needed to work on.
I do want to say though, one of the things I love about the film is that they try to make Mila look like an everyday person, like just a regular cop. Doesn't matter. No makeup, hair in a ponytail. She's still drop dead gorgeous. Stunning.
Like I've never seen a small town cop look that.
Looks
gorgeous.
so hot. She's so hot.
Right.
I was not hot. Did you see my hat?
Yes.
I was not hot.
Sexy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But what was it like?
Yes,
playing,
they had issues. I didn't. What were you saying? Right.
playing a character like that's like more grounded within this world that's very quirky.
Yes, I know. So you kind of just try to pull. Yes, you're right. So we try to make her outfit or her costumes kind of be her personality a little bit, and we tried on a lot of different versions of what an outfit could look like because you could be a cop, a sheriff, in all different facets. And when we found the hat, that was it. Brian was like, "You have to have the hat," and I was like, "Obviously." And so I have this amazing hat on. But yeah, she's kind of like the straight man next to Daniel that trucks it along a little bit.
Cailee and Kerry, for both of you, I feel like all of our suspects here carry a specific burden that they're grappling with that informs how they react to everything that's going on. What about your character's burden was most compelling to you when you first read the script and were approaching how you would tackle the character?
I really like that Vera was grappling with loyalty and what it means to be loyal and who you should be loyal to your family, to your community, to yourself. And I love that she has this real internal drive toward truth. I really identify with some of her journey because of some of my journey with my family. So I really admired her courage.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the same way that Ryan sort of interrogating his past with faith and growing up in the church, we had very similar upbringing. So I was like, oh wow, I've never done that before. I've never had the opportunity to look at that. And I think for audiences, everyone's got an opinion or an experience around that. And I think it's so bold of Ryan to do, but such a beautiful place to set it visually and emotionally.
Thank you so much for chatting with me. I can't wait to see this film again. And enjoy the rest of your day.